سيداتي سادتي، ندعوكم إلى القاعة الرئيسية للمؤتمر. سنبدأ بمشيئة الله تعالى جدول أعمال اليوم الثالث بعد لحظات. السيدات والسادة، ندعوكم إلى القاعة الرئيسية للمؤتمر. سنبدأ جدول أعمال اليوم الثالث من المؤتمر اللوجستي السعودي بعد لحظات بمشيئة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أكمل لنا الدين وأتم علينا النعمة وجعلنا بفضله وإحسانه خير أمة، وبعث فينا رسولا يتلو علينا آياته ويزكينا ويعلمنا الكتاب والحكمة، فصلوات ربي وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه بإحسان من سائر الأمة. أصحاب السعادة، السيدات والسادة، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، وأهلا ومرحبا بكم جميعا في اليوم الثالث من المؤتمر اللوجستي السعودي الثالث، الذي يهدف إلى المساهمة في رفع مستوى المعرفة في اللوجستيات من خلال الوصول إلى أحدث التطورات والخبرات والتجارب العالمية، والسعي إلى دمج هذه التطورات في عمليات تبسيط حركة المنتجات والمعلومات في سلسلة التوريد والخدمات اللوجستية. مباشرة إلى عرض بعنوان وظائف المستقبل في سلسلة الإمداد، يقدمه الأستاذ فادي غاني، المؤسس والرئيس لشركة مورغان انترناشونال.
All right, first I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me this chance to talk about the future of work. What are the skills gap? What is required to maintain our jobs? So the way I'm going to go about the presentation is I'm going to give you facts, what's happening out there, not only in the logistics, but across various industries. Then I'm going to focus more on the logistics, what are the trends in the workforce, and finally I'm going to talk a bit about the skills gap. I always like to start this with two famous people. One is called Stephen Hawking, who famously quoted, and he's very well known when it comes to the digitization and the technology, he said AGI could spell the end of human race. For some people, what's going on in terms of technology is the end of human race. And he further goes and says companies are no longer interested in who we are and what value we bring. We're just a number, and they're interested in the predictive value, what we bring to those companies. And another famous, Elon Musk, you all know him. He is the founder of Tesla. He even quoted publicly saying that, mark my words, the technology is more dangerous than the nuclear bomb. So there are two sides to the story. Is this something good, the direction we're taking? Is it good or is it bad? On the other side, for a lot of other people, they say no. The future looks good, and it's gonna brighten the future, and it's good for the humans, what's going on. So there are two sides of the stories. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna give you examples just to get started, just to get the thoughts going. Now, what's impacting all of this? If we look at the global environment, there are various factors that having impact on the work, the technology. And it's forcing us to go in certain directions. So if we look at the society and the individuals, we're talking about the changing work environment. Now, a lot of people in the world now work, at least in the Western world or in North America, the alternative workforce. There's no people working in offices now, they're all working remotely. That's around 40%, they work out of homes. We look at the growing diversity. Everybody with globalization now, you can be working with various people from different cultures, from different backgrounds. A lot of the generation now, they talk about the work-life balance. So people want to work in companies that provide work-life balance. There's a demographic change and income uncertainty. This is across all the world. Then we look at the technology, what's going on in technology. So we're talking about the converging technology. We're talking about big data, data science, and digitization of production. Not only of production, digitization of everything. If you look into companies, publishing companies, in the US now, they're struggling. A lot of them are restructuring because nobody is buying books anymore. Everybody is reading information in a digital format. Then if we look at the business environment, so there's a change in economic perspective. So there is a shift towards Asia. So we're talking India, China. They're having weight now globally. At the same time, we're talking about ecosystem. It's not only about producing a product, it's creating that value around the various ecosystems for that product. So we see the Apple ecosystem, the Google ecosystem, the IBM. It's not only in technology, it's across all products, even in the healthcare industry. Resources. So there's more and more scarcity of resources, and we're talking about sustainable resources for the future. And lastly, it is the mix between politics and interference in the business and the trade. We all know about it. We can see it more and more visible. The next wars that's going to happen, it's not going to be the army, it's going to be digital war. And we can see the trade wars that's going on. All of this is changing the work perspective and what we do and how companies are moving forward. Just this, for some people, this might look normal. We live it every day. But go back 15, 20 years ago, tell somebody that I'm going to create the largest taxi company in the world, but I'm not going to own one single car. Or I'm going to create the largest hotel in the world, but I'm not going to own any property. And the largest media in the world does not produce any content. Or the largest retailer that does not own any stock. Now for us, we take it for granted. But if we look historically, if you tell somebody 15, 20 years ago, they think that you are insane. But for now, we take it for granted. So things are changing. Jobs that didn't exist 15, 20 years ago, now we take it for fact. Digital marketing specialist. If you look before, this does not exist. That title did not exist. App developer. Now, people talking about apps. Self-driven car tester, blogger, vlogger, big data analyst, digital strategist, cloud service specialist. All those titles and jobs and works, they did not exist before. So for those who have children, my advice to you, and that's based on a lot of research, is that we always want to advise our children what is the best career path for them. In today's world, you cannot advise your children what career path they should take, because probably by the time they graduate, there's going to be a lot of new job openings and titles that don't exist and we don't know about them today. Now, consider this. If you are an employer, you can hire an entity that works 24 hours a day. They don't get tired. They don't require health insurance. They don't require vacation. They don't require increase in salary. No insurance. Would you hire that company? Would you hire that person? Honestly, a lot of people say, no, it's not human, but companies, if you look at bottom lines, company would hire that entity. And it's more and more happening. This is the research conducted by McKinsey, which is alarming. It specifically states that 375 million workers around the world, they have to switch occupational categories and learn new skills. So what's happening is that we're not saying you're going to lose your job. The way you do your job, you have to reskill and you have to change the way you do things. And 60% of those jobs, one-third of them, one-third of those functions that you take will be automated. So if you're working in let's say you're an accountant, you're working in accounting, a lot of the skills that you need now, in the future, they will be automated. So you have to do things differently. It goes further, research done, this is with McKinsey as well, says 87% of employees believe that technology, like artificial intelligence and machine learning, it will improve the work experience, and they are willing to invest the time to learn new skills. So the public in general, people are willing to invest to learn new skills so they can adapt to the changing world. 50% of chief human resource officers, they believe that cognitive computing will change and transform HR. It's happening. As we speak, it's happening. 2 years ago, Amazon got sued because it was favoring men over women in the recruitment. And it wasn't human beings doing the selection. The first selection was done by artificial intelligence. People would send the CVs, it's scanned by certain machinery, technology, and they were doing the selection before they go into the interview. Those companies receive thousands of CVs. So now the recruitment is being done by the first stage. A lot of the scanning is done by machines. Over and above, I'll just give you an example. I was in a conference a couple of months ago in the US. In the US now, the trend in the HR, there's no more sitting face-to-face with your boss or with the head of HR and discussing your skills and your performance. It's all automated. They know the job, what are the tasks. They're using smart data to see how long it's taking you the task on the computer, monitoring where you move in the offices, and it's comparing to specific standards that they have. So it's all done in an automated fashion. Even if you want to inquire about the company laws, vacation days, everything is done through an application like Siri. You ask the question, you get the answer. So not only, so it's even in HR, and they call it the human analytics now, it's moving fast. And already 41% of companies are using this technology in some sort of fashion. Now, I've mentioned this indirectly, and this is, it says, by one popular estimate, 65% of children entering primary school today will end up working in jobs that don't exist today. We don't know what they are, and nobody knows what they are. I've shown you before, and this trend is going to be going in that direction and at a much progressive rate. So this is the research by Deloitte. We are moving into augmented workforce. So Deloitte is a bit on the other side. They say 50% of jobs will be replaced by technology. But they say is that the future is going to be a blend between human beings working alongside of technology. So when we talk about augmented workforce, it's the blend of human employees and technology working on tasks together. So I give you a task, the technology or robotics or whatever is going to be your colleague working on the same task. And probably manual tasks would go to automate them, and you will be working more on a different task that brings of a higher value, which I will address them very shortly. Now, before we talk about what you need to do to prepare for this, so what should you do? Are you going to lose your jobs? What skills you should be focused? Let's look a bit about the supply chain, what they are talking about trends. And this is research done by Apex, one of the largest associations globally in the US. And they're going to tell you what are the trends in the supply. But here are some current facts. Amazon and Kiva, they carry now 50% more inventory, and their processing time is 1/5 of processing time. Ross Intelligence, which is a software for lawyers, they are processing millions and billions of law documents in seconds. So the way they do it and the information they get, it's also being automated. NASA now, they train astronauts on 3G using virtual reality. Boeing, they're using augmented reality to build planes to reduce errors by 50%. General Electric now, all their turbines and engines are connected directly with the manufacturing, so they know they can project if there will be any issues with their equipment. And GM, they're using the Oculus, which is produced by Facebook, to design cars globally. They have their design teams globally using the Oculus as if they're in one team to design the cars. So things are not the same. And if we want to progress, we need to learn about these skills, and we need to focus on specific areas that machines cannot do. So in supply chain, the way things are moving, there are 5 main elements that are impacting it. It's the Internet of Things, it's robotics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and computer recognition and analysis. These are the main 5 trends globally when it comes to supply chain logistics. If I look briefly on each of one, when we talk about Internet of Things, we're talking about devices connected together. 3 years ago, there were around 13 billion devices connected together. Today, there's more than 65 billion devices connected together. So we're talking about the fleet of trucks connected to the warehouse, connected to the vendor, the supplier. Everything is talking together. So 2 impacts when it does here. Its operational efficiencies will be enhanced, and revenue opportunities it will identify new revenue opportunities. So when we talk about operational efficiencies, what are they? We're talking about asset tracking. So what I mean by that, GPS read on various machines where you track everything from the floor, warehouse, all the way to the store. Everything is being tracked. We're talking about data of stored. When your equipment is moving or your stock is moving, you know the temperature, what freight they were in, how much time it spent in cargo, how much time it took to fly off your customers. It reaches the customer, how long it took them to sell it, to turn it around. All that data can be connected, and you can have that information. This will have a tighter grip on quality and time of deliveries, so you don't miss deadlines, and in projecting and forecasting your data for production, and ability to locate objects, containers, and personnel. When you connect everything, you have a very good audit trail across all the board, so you can project if there's any issues that's going to happen. They're talking about vendors' relation. When we talk about supply chain, a lot of people don't understand the cost to maintain good relationship with vendors. This is the key area. It has a hidden cost. So by tweaking the deliveries on the go, by identifying hidden vendor costs for that relationship, and attention to your vendors, how they're handling all of those aspects, all of the supplies you're providing them, it leads to a better relationship, and where you reduce cost. Definitely forecasting and inventory, more accurate inventories. It's way better projection and forecasting than human brains can process, and you will never miss a deadline. Then we talk about connected fleets. Shipping containers, delivery trucks are all connected, faster delivery, and scheduled maintenance. So even the maintenance, you can know if the machinery is going to break down. So at least you take proactive measures where you don't incur the cost of downtime. The revenue opportunities, we all know it, people who use Facebook and Instagram, is that they can track your buying habits, the trends associated, and they can have a more focused, lasered marketing towards your needs. And the most important is it allows customers to know the origins of product. Just to give you an example, Alibaba in China, they started a chain of supermarkets. You walk into the supermarket, let's say you're buying lettuce from the supermarket. You can scan the lettuce. When you scan it, you know where it was implanted, how it was shipped, when it received to the store, and you can find out who other people who bought that lettuce, And at the same time, it scans, you know, the history, the vendors who work on it. And more suppliers now, or vendors, are very cautious about who are the suppliers are and how they're dealing with their employees. So there's more and more corporate governance going on around this. That's the first trend, the Internet of Things. We talk about robotics. Now, when we talk about robotics, immediately when we think about robotics, we think about car industry, manufacturing cars. This trend has gone away. So in North America, companies that have received robotics is the food and consumer goods, around 48%. We're talking plastic and rubber, around 37%, science, 31%, and electronics, the remaining. So when we talk about robotics now, the term we use is cobots. What is cobots? It's collaborative robots that work hand in hand with human beings, sharing the same workforce. It's happening. And the technology became cheap. It's not very expensive. It's easy to program. It's fast to set up. It's flexible and safe. Cobots can take more dull and dangerous tasks. So if you are in a work environment, the routine tasks can be delivered to cobots, where humans can focus more on the creative functions of the job. And currently, I'll give you an example, is Ford. They're using cobots to install shock observers on their cars. Amazon fulfillments they're using cobots, where they reduced the fulfillment from 1 hour to 15 minutes. And supermarket Ocado as well, they fill orders, you put the order and the cobot goes and bring your stuff. So it's already there. It's not expensive tools that they are using. Then we talk about the third aspect is the machine learning. When we talk about machine learning, we're talking about large, diverse data, and that will help us in forecasting our inventory. It helps us identify new trends in supply chains and influential factors that we can address. It definitely enhances the delivery and the performance, and minimize suppliers' risk, and of course, predictive performance. I'm not talking only in production, but critical elements within the supply chain. And the last thing is the visual patterns. There's no more need for human beings to go and inspect with the face detection and everything. That technology, we can have the machine learning inspecting certain goods. How many of you, sometimes you're on a website and in order to authorize you for security, they ask you press on the street signs, or where's the cars press, you do it. For us, the general public think this is done because of security reasons. In reality, it's not only security. They are using us for machine learning. When millions of people around the world saying, if you see this sign, you press on it, this is a car, they're using all that feedback from human beings for machine learning. Now, the other aspects of machine learning is gaining greater intelligence with related technologies to lower your inventory levels, operational costs, and quicker response time. And it gives you end-to-end visibility between supplier and vendor, and which creates transparency and audit trail. The fourth thing is artificial intelligence. Average time spent by somebody working in supply chain, 55 hours is manual, paper-based process and checks, 39 hours chasing invoices, this is a week, 23 hours responding to suppliers' inquiries. If you take that, you multiply it by year, it's 65,000 hours. Using artificial intelligence, you can eliminate all that time and cost. Already IBM, Google, and Amazon have already released products and supply chain using the artificial intelligence. We talk about chatbots now. Again, when it comes to procurement, they call it ProcuBot. It's a technology they're using where placing orders sending notifications, and filing the invoices is all done by chatbots. We're talking about machine learning for supply chain planning ahead of time, forecasting, optimized supply chain decision-making, and optimized delivery of goods. And machine learning is being used in warehouse management across all the various entities. Proper warehouse inventory-based management, or forecasting engine, and learning with a predictive intelligence. Automating of vehicles for logistics and shipping. So eventually we're going to reach driverless cars that can drive 24 hours at 25% of the cost, less accidents, more accurate. We're talking about natural language processing, the barriers in language. Those machines can eliminate that barrier, and it will streamline the auditing, compliance, and governance, and predictive analytics for supplier selection. Choosing your supplier is a very critical element throughout the supply chain, and it enhances supply chain sustainability, ethics, and eliminate any risks. It's better visibility on supplier assessment, audits, and credit scoring, and it turns passive data into active data. So these are the trends in the world of supply chain. Now the question is, what can you do about it? So a lot of our jobs will be changing. The way in every industry, whether you're accounting, doctor, it's changing. So what do you do? How are we going to fit? So if you look at surveys conducted on the skills gap, the focus is no longer on technical skills, because any company can deliver to you the technical skills. The focus now is moving into the soft skills. I'm talking analytical skills, I'm talking adaptation, thinking, analyzing. These are the skills where the employers for the future will be focusing on. And already in the Middle East, a lot of that trend started. E&Y, which is an audit firm now, which is present all over the Middle East. I received the call from them. They want to hire accountants, but they don't want them accounting major. They want them engineer major to work in accounting, because they can train those engineers to become accountants, but they use their analytical skills, which brings a value added for the firm. So all of this. So you need to learn about these technology words. You need to focus on the skills areas robots cannot do, acquire technology language, and engage in lifelong education. So when we talk about understand technology, it's not one size fits all. Technology is limited, cannot think for itself, and the cost of the maintenance. But you need to be aware about it. If you are in project management, you need to know how to use a project management software. Nobody will hire you if you're not exposed to project management software. So whatever industry you are in, you need to learn about those terms. Then build the skills areas robots cannot. And these are done by, this research is done by PwC actually. And they say the skills for the new employers where you need to focus on is critical thinking, creativity, imagination and vision, physical skills certain computers cannot do, the management of the technology, and empathy and communication. But number one comes critical thinking and being adaptive, being able to change and adapt to the new working environments. This is so the employers are really hiring now the attitude rather than your technical experience. So only companies that can master both the technical and social are set out to succeed in the future. Let me give you, when we talk about acquiring technology, it's not about being a computer engineer. It's about, like I've said, understanding the platforms, what works for your specific function within the company, keeping up to date with it. The challenge, it's not a one-time thing. You have to practice and learn about it on an ongoing basis, which is shifting now the education from university to the individuals. And we used to learn in order to work. Now we work in order to learn, and it's a continuous. And statistics shows within 5 years, if you don't update yourself, it takes only 5 years to be obsolete. So the shift have changed from the university now to the individual level to learn, adapt, and stay up to date. In the US now, there's a question mark about the universities. Are they doing their job? Because a lot of them are funded. Are university graduates able to find jobs? Are they delivering the skills gap? Unfortunately, academics are not staying up to date. If you're in marketing, and you're still learning the traditional marketing, by the time you graduate, you're obsolete. They're talking about digital, SEO, app, PPC, retargeting, remarketing. If you don't learn those, and those are changing on a yearly basis, you're not going to find a job. So just not to forget few points. 1/3 of new, okay, we said technology is taking certain roles, but it's not the end of the world, because 1/3 of new jobs in the United States in the past 25 years were created because of technology. They did not exist. 50,000 jobs have been destroyed in France by the internet in the past 15 years. But against that, there's 1.2 million jobs in France have been created because of the technology. Currently in the US, there's 250,000 shortfall jobs in data science. There's shortfall in data science. So the workforce of the future, what you need to focus on is you have to be able to create new worlds. You need to create yourself. You should be able to be adaptive. If change is happening, you should adapt very quickly. Be able to turn information quickly into decision making. You're being bombarded with information left and right. Between your emails, your text messages, the employer communication, what you read on the internet, there's a whole amount of information they should be able to process and make decisions out of it. You should be able to work without direct leadership. If you look at companies now, if you look at the Apple and Big, they are small groups, no direct leadership, working remotely and meeting in small groups. And many of the future skills relates to be able to work mind-machine, working together and interfaces. Just this morning I was reading about Amazon. One of the success stories of them, they canceled, apparently, Jeff Bezos canceled all PowerPoint presentations in meetings. Nobody is allowed to do a PowerPoint presentation because they lose focus. So what they asked for is to write a memo for that meeting, and the senior executive, they take 15, 20 minutes reading that memo and then commenting on it. So things are being done differently. For the workforce experience in the future as well, you have to look at data is becoming the new digital currency. Data is now more important than cash. And your kids, they probably will not see currency. It's going to all turn into digital. Your kids will probably have not seen a driving license. If you show them a driving license, they don't know what they are. They will never experience driving a car. That will change a lot. The insurance companies have to change the way they do things, less accidents. They have to find alternative way to charge premium and make money. People are no longer sitting in their cubicles. Definitely human analytics will be applied in the workforce, and smart offices. So when we talk about smart offices, we're talking about motion, sound, temperature, presence tracking. Everything is being tracked. How much you're laser focused on the job, every task, how much you're doing it. From the minute you walk into the office, all the way, the whole day is being tracked. There's no privacy anymore. So just to give you an idea what they are talking about, new jobs that are opening for the future, they're talking about alternative energy consultant. Because of the scarce resources, new jobs is going to open up called alternative energy consultant. They talk about memory surgeon. There's a whole research. So instead of taking a pill if you have bad feelings or you're depressed, they're talking about operating on you, on your memory, to change your memory. They say doctors will no longer do surgeries. So instead, there's going to be medical mentors. So robots will do the surgery on you, and the doctor come in to take care of you after the surgery. So even the health is changing. They talk about productivity counselor. Because of the changing environment and the quick, people need to be shaken up. So there's going to be a post called productivity counselor where they go in, they shake up the company quickly to adapt and be adaptive with the new trends. We talk about future currency speculator. It's all in the digital world. Definitely privacy consultancy. All the companies now require privacy. Privacy is becoming a main issue across the board for individuals and for corporates, and it's becoming more and more complex. Just 2 minutes on this topic. The problem about the data privacy is that governments are not moving ahead with the technology in terms of creating laws. It's still something new for the governments. They're trying to understand it and create laws around it. Even in the US, the most advanced markets in the world, they're still far behind in understanding and creating the laws. And that's why every couple of months we hear about certain issues arising. We talk about corporate disruptor and commercial space pilot. So will human beings be able to find jobs? We believe yes, but your skills have to be focused somewhere else. Are human beings better with the technology? The majority think they are, because it's giving us, extending our life expectancy. There are a lot of benefits. You can work from home. You can work at an older age now. In the US, the average retirement age is 65. You find now people working to their 70 because they can work from home. They don't have to commute from work. So there's a lot of benefits for it. And it all depends how you use it and how you apply it. So it have double impact, but it falls back to how you use that. This is about it. I think I'm on time. I'm done with the presentation. Thank you very much.
شكرا جزيلا أستاذ فادي. السيدات والسادة، قبل أن ننتقل إلى العرض التالي ندعوكم في مساء هذا اليوم، عند الساعة 12:50 ظهرا إلى ورشة عمل التير، نقلة نوعية لتيسير العمليات الجمركية للعبور وتنمية التجارة من وعبر المملكة، حيث سيتم مناقشة تفاصيل الاتفاقية والمميزات والفوائد التي يقدمها تير لقطاع النقل اليوم بمشيئة الله تعالى عند الساعة 12:50 ظهرا. العرض التالي سيداتي سادتي بعنوان الرقمنة وتحليل البيانات في سلسلة الإمداد، التوجهات والفرص، يقدمها الأستاذ ميشيل، كبير محللي بيانات فورمولا 1.
Go and back. Okay. Good morning, everybody. First of all, thank you for the invitation at this great venue, full of great professionals, but in particular where I really feel a moving, ambitious vision of an entire country. I'm the group leader of data analytics at Sauber Formula 1 team, and I'm an analytics consultant. I help companies collect, integrate, augment their data, and make the best use of that. I think in this room, we all know that a supply chain, to keep functioning, needs an active management, and also to generate revenue. Still nowadays, we see plenty of products delivered all over the world through very standardized process. That's fine, nothing wrong with that. If everything goes well, the demand and supply gap is very small. However, if our forecast is based on inconsistent or incomplete data, we might face tremendous disruption in our chain that can negatively affect the reputation, the profitability, and the operation of our company. The good news is that we are entering the fourth industrial revolution. We witness transformative phenomena that are shaping our industry. Connectivity and big data are the key words that we have to take into account. Big data is fueling the analytic engine of this fourth industrial revolution. If in the past we had carbon and steam, today we have data. If in the past, thanks to the large margins that we could achieve, we were concerned about producing more and later on producing in a more effective way, today the key targets are predictivity and reactivity. With predictivity, I mean the ability to use the past and the present information to build an understanding on the future. With reactivity, I mean acting as quickly as possible under uncertain circumstances. In the next slide, I would like to introduce emerging technology that are shaping and will shape the future of the connectivity landscape. I will discuss what big data is and what you might want to consider in your supply chain 4.0. Okay, let's start with something that is not new at all, the cloud. We have cloud everywhere already. It's nothing else than this holistic platform of distributed resources that are accessible over multiple locations, actors, and organizations. The fact that you have cloud in your organization does not mean that you are digital. The importance of the cloud, in my opinion, is not the technologies itself. It's, in my opinion, the willingness in a company in promoting and embrace the cloud to scale your operation, the services worldwide within minutes, and keeping the IT cost under control. The importance of the cloud is the willingness of a company to embrace it to achieve an agile and streamlined communication at all levels of the company, to create trust and trustworthiness between employees and partners. But in particular, in my opinion, the most important point is that you want to create an holistic integration of people, teams, partners, machine that are finally working all together using the same knowledge, the same data, and the same coherent metrics. By doing so, we can implement strategic, enterprise-wide strategies without fighting against units or specialized silo. The second technology that will dramatically change most of our industries is 5G. 5G is a digital network where service areas are divided in cells. These cells are nothing else than little geographic area where we have 5G antennas. Within a cell's device, communicate with each other, share data, convert the signal and send it to the antenna, and the antenna is connected with the usual network. Thanks to this granularity in this area, 5G allows a tremendous speed of communication, quality of connection, and you can transfer a huge amount of data between the devices. 5G will have in the future endless application in supply chain. It will connect people, it will connect products, it will connect robots, and why not even drones. Due to the large availability of 5G sensors that will be so cheap and with such a long-lasting battery, we will be able to put sensor everywhere. Cargos, cars, even a bag of raw material. Think about, for example, the amount of resources and efforts invested for problem of responsibilities, ownership, and insurance of products that you have in your company. Where the damage happened, who is responsible, is my supplier maybe covering some shading activity? With sensor, Internet of Things sensor applied on our cargoes, we will be able to track, as said in the previous presentation, the location, temperature, humidity, weight, and so on and so forth. We will inform shippers and record data without manual processing. But most of all, if an accident happens, we'll be informed immediately and we'll be able to draw contingency plan as soon as possible. Thanks to 5G sensors, robots will not only do heavy work, pick products and boxes, but they will collect data while they are doing their job. They will collect videos, and thanks to 5G connectivity and the ability to transfer huge amount of data, this real-time video can be processed in real time by computer, and they can be used for optimal position of the robot, optimal path of the robot. Worker can be equipped with the headset, an helmet with an headset, and interact in real time with their voice with the central servers. These central servers can interpret their voice using speech recognition, and the information, like in Siri on your phone, can activate action or react in case of an emergency or something bad happened to an employee. Supply chain manager will be in a control tower. They will monitor, they will be able to interact, increase the efficiency of their warehouse, and respond to fluctuation in the market in practical real time with a very simplified workflow that will connect all these parties involved. Last but not least, I've seen in many presentations talking about that we have an increasing level of vehicle communication. Train, trucks, ship will collect and share data with each other about their capacity, their location, the network condition, the performance of the driver, and so on and so forth. We will be able to trigger the dispatch of a product in real time and be aware that in a not so far future, we will be able to orchestrate an entire fleet of autonomous self-driving vehicles. The third and last technology that I would like to mention today is blockchain. I hear many conflicting reactions about blockchain, and honestly, I also had a skeptical view about a technology so tightly linked with the so-called cryptocurrency. Now, forget about currency, and let's talk about the technology and the paradigm of blockchain that was invented for that specific application, but if properly implemented and used, can have countless applications also in supply chain. Blockchain, you have to think about it as an account book. You have a list of records called blocks. These blocks are linked together through cryptography, and each block is defined with an hash of the previously generated block, a timestamp, and it can bring some sort of information. I hope this already raised a bit your attention. How many times in your supply chain you have to safely, efficiently, and permanently share transaction data? If the answer is hundreds or thousands of times a day, then you might consider blockchain in your company. Let's make an example. Two parties initiate a transaction. The blockchain assigns an encryption. In the network protocol, at this point, you verify the transaction, and you create a block. Once the block is generated, you cannot change it anymore. It's there, it's stored. All the information are already in account book. This is appended in the chain. The two parties receive a verification, and the transaction is permanently stored in the account book. You have to be aware that banks, energy traders, and large industrial conglomerates are already using this technology. In particular, energy traders that sell electric energy are using this technology to verify their transaction all over the world. As I said before, the applications with this supply chain are endless. We can replace plenty of slow manual process with the generation of block in our chain of supplier, manufacturer, warehouse, contractors, sellers, and so on and so far. We can use this technology to accommodate the increasing request of transparency and traceability of products and raw material. We can also use this technology to mitigate the cost of quality problem that affect the reputation of our companies, and finally have enough trustworthy data that you can use to orchestrate our global supply chain with many actors and many companies involved. So we are done with the technology, and I talk about technology to collect and share data. If you take all this data, plus all the data that you might think of, this is the big data. The name itself refers to all the technologies that are used to store and retrieve data at our advantage. This is a huge lake of information, and today there is an explosion of the amount of data we generate. Our phone, cars, computer, even our watches are collecting data. Most of the data, to our eyes, are apparently useless, and they are not even considered. Most of the data are siloed in database, and some of them are so complex that we say are too unstructured that cannot be placed in an Excel sheet in row and column. This means that a huge amount of information is lost. The good news is that nowadays we have very powerful technologies, much more powerful than Excel and SQL. We can work on unstructured data. That practically means everything we have: recordings, video, sensor data, database, text, writing, even some sort of feelings about our customers. And to be honest, our brain, as a human being, can only process 3 dimensions, maximum 4 if you think about time. And we have to be honest and be aware that nowadays an expert will be someone, as said in the previous presentation, with the right question, not with the answers. The key point here is big data is about the more we know about a process, a person, an activity, or a region, the more likely we will be able to predict what happened and what will happen in the future. If we take all this data and we feed into analytics engine, we can uncover patterns and relationships that otherwise our brain will not even be able to think about it. By comparing more points, relationships start to emerge and allows us to make more educated guess and more educated strategic decision. We will be able to spot anomalies, trends, and patterns, but we need this huge amount of data all together integrated in one single database. Data, I see it as oil. You need a refinement process before you can really extract its real value. Like oil, data nowadays is a source of power. Think about companies, as said before, like Amazon, Alibaba, Facebook, Google. They have a competitive market advantage because they have data and they have the technologies to extract the real value from this huge amount of data. I said before that we want to extract insights, trends, and patterns or recommendations from the data and to communicate them for the decision-making process. Here, analytics come to play. Analytics is not a subject, self-contained. It lies at the intersection between math, statistics, computer science, operation research, business. If data is the fuel of the fourth industrial revolution, analytics will be the engine. As for cars, you can have a Ford, a Ferrari, a Maserati, a Mercedes, or a Porsche engine, all with their different features, all with their strengths and their weaknesses, the same way we have different analytics engine. As I said, leader of tomorrow will not have answer to complex problem, high-dimensional, dynamic problem that we have to face, but they need to have the appropriate question. We have to get used with this kind of reasoning and this type of decision-making, and gradually further automate our process and allow our analytics engine to look forward and to bring added value to our organization. Application of analytics in supply chain are endless. The questions, underline again, the question that we have to ask and continuously ask in our company are, for example, how can we improve our purchasing? How can we improve our production? How can we improve our quality, our planning, our delivery? Regression, optimization, and simulation are just few tools and few concepts that can help answer this question. Regression is about using the data, creating a model, and predict what happened in the past or what likely will happen in the future. Simulation is about using this model and test scenarios, test policies, test uncertain conditions, even remote, on our operations. Optimization, as the name suggests, is about using this budget of information and be always at our best, be always safe, resistant, and robust. You can apply all this concept to all this subsector and specific operation of your supply chain. The real deal here is to link all of this and not only optimizing your warehouse independently from your production, independently from your delivery, but implement an all-in-one solution for the entire chain. Now, regarding the implementation of analytics is not easy. Many companies are facing substantial challenges for the implementation due to their disparate process across functions and geographies, discrete information silo, different metrics and KPIs to evaluate even the same process, island of excellence that are just focusing on optimizing subcomponent and not the big picture. The connectivity and the digitalization will bring down all this wall for sure. Analytics is there to link the dots. So our chain, instead of being one-dimensional, will become an integrated and connected, smart, transparent network that operates efficiently and robustly whenever needed. Let's return back to engines. If you never drove a car, you don't start with a Ferrari. Otherwise, you will burn a lot of money and you will crash very badly. The same way, if you are a traditional company, gradually build up confidence and start integrating your data sources. Augment them with external data if needed. Data can be bought. Invest in infrastructure, not in tool. A visualization tool that you might have is not doing analytics. You need an infrastructure to do real-time, effective analytics. Train and invest in the appropriate human capital. There's no perfect recipe, and it will not be an easy journey. Every organization should define their scope and their goals, identify what is missing in their infrastructure and what will be required in the future. You need a vision. Identify the relevant data that you want to collect, and eventually augment your data with external to have a richer data set. And finally, identify what are the metrics that you want to use to drive your decision-making process. I want to conclude with few considerations. The revolution is taking place, powered by the technology that are getting more and more available, a strong talent pool of individuals with the right knowledge, and an enormous amount of data. Analytics will be the game changer to achieve your business result and a sustainable competitive advantage. If you consider to take part to this journey, keep in mind to deliver the value early, build pilot program to demonstrate the value in a controlled and easy to understand environment. Learn, refine, iterate, and build the technology in this controlled environment before launching an enterprise-wide strategy using analytics. Invest in power user and build data scientist center in your organization that work with data, interpret data, visualize data, and are able to turn the insights of analytics into actions. With the right people and the right approach, the company can develop a roadmap that ties analytics with their goals. If you have questions, requests, or interest, here are my contact details, and I'm done. Thank you very much.
سيداتي سادتي، أهلا بكم من جديد. العرض التالي بعنوان النقل البري، توجهات مستقبلية متطورة وبطابع ذكي، يقدمه السيد باتريك فيليب مدير الاعتمادات والمقاييس بالاتحاد الدولي للنقل البري.
Assalamu alaikum. Ladies and gentlemen, dear professional, it's a pleasure for me to be here today, and I would like to thank the organizers for inviting you to be with you today. We will continue the discussion on the trend of what's ahead of us, and looking at how the road transport industry is set to change, what are the challenges that are ahead of us, but also the tremendous opportunities that are offered. So my presentation will go against those four elements. We'll first look on how business leaders are seeing the key innovation trends. We'll discuss about automation and see where we are today. Is it a fact or is it a myth? We'll speak as well on our innovation vision and what future services we see coming. And at the end, we also need to look at the human aspect, which will play a key role in making road transport and economy sustainable in the future. But before I start with that presentation, I would like just to provide you with a very brief fact animation on who RU is and why the future of road transport is so important to us.
Look beyond. What do you see? Safer people and roads. Greater sustainability. Shared prosperity. This is what we see. We, IRU, the World Road Transport Organization, the voice of more than 3.5 million companies, through members in more than 80 countries, with one vision: connecting societies with safe, efficient green mobility and logistics, helping people and goods move, crossing borders, building global standards, championing excellence, as the voice of the road transport industry. Look beyond. Together, we shape the mobility and logistics of tomorrow. Together, we work for a world in motion. Will you join us?
So road transport is not only a transport mode, it's a production tool. It is connecting economies, and by far, most of the movement of goods taking place in Saudi Arabia in the GCC regions are operated by road. So we've been interviewing about 500 key industry stakeholders through in-depth interview to see what is their outlook for the future. And for us, by collecting their data, being able to act on those key priorities. So what comes out is that definitely growth is foreseen. And that's confirmed by other studies from our international organization, that we see that globally, road transport is set to further develop. As you can see, by 2050, it is foreseen that there will be a growth of about 250% in road transport movement. However, it's not a lean playing field. There are discrepancies. There are countries and regions where growth will be much strong, whilst others will be more stable. So when we ask the business leader to look into the key challenges, we've been analyzing per regions, but also having a global overlook. Now, if we look in the GCC region, we see that there are 3 items that come very high on the agenda. One is being able to answer changing demand, what the customers are expecting from us, being able to deal with that. The second is looking on how the economy is doing. And the third one is looking to global uncertainty. And certainly, today, when we look on the news, when US-China trade war is so high on the agenda and captures the media's attention, certainly economy and the companies are also looking in how business will be affected by those political wars. When we look at the global perspective, we can see that we are almost in line. However, global uncertainty comes in number 1, which is followed by the global recession and changing customer demand. When we ask about innovation, we can see that the prospect of innovation is everywhere. And thank you to my colleagues, which have already been going in the details on how innovation on data is set to change the industry. Now, when we look at the different elements from a more road transport specific perspective, we see that there are multiple areas where innovation will play a tremendous role. So it's not only speaking about automation 5 vehicles on the road. There are many other aspects in the transport and the logistic chain where, where innovation will make transport and logistics progress. But again, there is no level playing field here. Whilst there are front runners and disruptors, and some have been mentioned before, we speak about adoption of digital platform, Uberization of goods. On another side, we also have a large fraction of the industry which is only just coping with regular demand. Are we going autonomous? Are we autonomous today? By when we will see autonomous vehicles on the road? Well, it is changing. And certainly for those that are following the subject in the media, we see that there are highs and lows. Now, the industry here foresees that it's extremely positive and foresees by large majority that in the next 10 years, we'll see autonomous truck on the road. 1/3 of those transport and other company leaders even expect that within 5 years, autonomous vehicle will be on the road. Which level of autonomy? Where are we today? As we know today, most of the automation and where we benefit from automation, notably in safety, is between level 0 and level 2. To some extent, for cars, we are going into level 3, but certainly what we foresee as well is that the big benefit from vehicle automation will only in level 4 and level 5 areas. Everything that comes before is only partial and will continue to require that the human being is in the vehicle and in control of the vehicle. So there is a huge investment that continues to be made in order to reach the destination, if certainly one day we'll see autonomous vehicle on the road. However, today, when you read the news, that's what you see. There is a big challenge. The expectations that were foreseen and announced in 2015, notably by Tesla, that we will see fully autonomous vehicle by 2070s on the road is not yet achieved. Ford, GM also made their forecast that in 2018 we'll see their autonomous vehicle on the road. Have you seen them? Waymo, the Google spin-off that is dealing with automation of vehicle, has just been cut by Morgan Stanley by 40%. Because they are consistently moving the delivery on the automation systems. And it is not yet that we will see a fully automated car on public road. On closed environment, on the contrary, yes, we've seen tremendous progress. And for instance, Volvo has been launching a fully automated system which is going through transport mine and delivers goods in a safe, efficient manner without drivers on board of vehicles. But that's on a confined area. Now, what will be the benefit for the road transport industry of full automation? When you look at the cost structure, certainly, and it will depend on the regions, if you remove the cost of the driver because he won't be on the vehicle anymore, and you add the additional gains that you will have on fuel, we will be reducing the cost of about 30 to 45%. What will benefit as well is that we'll benefit from an uplift by the usage of digital platform. and at the end of the day will benefit also through the design of the vehicle. If you look at that picture here, that truck has no cabin. What is the cost to design a cabin? So today, when you think that a modern vehicle of a latest generation, that you will certainly pay for about $100,000, about 5% of the cost is simply on the cabin. So here you'll have tremendous gain. And on top of that, by removing the cabin, you remove weight. And that weight, you can compensate. You can put it in the back. If you remove 7 tons from the cabin, you add 7 tons on the back, on the goods that are transported. So there are huge prospects that are ahead of us in terms of vehicle automation, but hurdles are still there and need to be overcome. Now, other areas where the people that have been interviewed and consultants see progress are described here. So when we've been asked about the top area where innovation will contribute positively to the industry, safety comes as number one. We have automation, we see telematics, automation we've been speaking about. Telematics was covered before as well. Sustainability, in terms of how we can mitigate the usage of energy in the vehicle, and open data for the connectivity between the vehicle. And at the end, where we see as well that innovation for all of them is extremely strong in achieving those elements. The power of managing data. I will not go too much in the detail because my colleague Michele has been discussing it in far more holistic way. But from a road transport perspective, there's so many data points that can be analyzed. And what is interesting is that nowadays there's still a large amount of transport companies that do not manage that data. And what we say is, if you can't measure, you can't properly manage. So without the data points, you cannot take the right decision in order to be able to manage your transport and logistic capital. So here, we see that the data that gets collected from the vehicle itself, from the tools and the equipment that is on board of the vehicle, but also from the shipment side, where the shipment themselves gets equipped with RFID chips in order that the movement of goods can be tracked anytime, anywhere. The benefit for the road transport companies, you can see them here. By managing data efficiently, you not only reduce fuel because you reduce the idle time, but you improve in efficiency tremendously. We'll discuss about trade facilitation in the workshop that will be starting at around lunchtime. But I just would like to have a few words about here. Innovation comes also in the way we operate trade, and certainly the way we operate transport across different countries where administration needs to be addressed. So having new ways to operate trade and transport is also part of the innovation curve. Now, where we are today is that those transport documents and other consigned modes gradually gets fully digital. Again, if you have more interest about TIER and trade facilitation, it's a good time to come to the workshop that will be starting this afternoon. Now, to drive that change in the road transport industry, what needs to take place? And what are the elements that are posing risk? When we analyzed again, what are the elements that are posing some risk into being able to adapt and be part of that innovation curve, it's the understanding of the technology. It was raised twice before by my predecessor, is how the human being is able to deal with the change. So the lack of high qualified people is a possible burden that need to be addressed. And I think that numerous sessions throughout the 3 days have been hinting that it is absolutely essential to invest in people in order to accompany the change, but also at the same time to give job to them. If we look globally, the problem of the industry, or a key problem of the industry, is the lack of qualified workforce. And that's at all levels. We're finding at the top level, and again, refer to the discussions that were taken before, but we have the problem that is systematic when we speak about the people that are sitting in the trucks and ensure the movement of goods. Unfortunately, today, we have a driver shortage across most of the regions, which is impeding the road transport industry to be able to deliver in the most efficient manner. The problem with that is that if it continues, it will have a further impact on the supply chains. And it's likely that goods that have to be delivered will become more expensive, which is absolutely surprising, because on another side, another big challenge that today's economies have is the high level of unemployment in the society. So we have an industry, which is transport and logistics, that provides huge opportunity for employment, whilst on the other side, we have a large number of economy which are still struggling to get the people to employment. I was speaking safety before, and the reason why so many companies were seeing innovation as a key element to support road safety. The absence of addressing road safety properly has huge consequences. You may know that every day in the world, 3,500 people pass away on the roads. That's more than any war that is currently taking place, by far. It's the first cause of accidents for the age category 15 to 29. There is nothing else. Yet, we're still relatively complacent about properly addressing road safety. When you look in monetary terms, what is the impact of not addressing road safety on the economies? It's shown here. It's a huge part of the GDP of the countries. And again, it's a problem that remains to be solved. So how to solve it in the current environment? As was mentioned before, technology innovation and certainly automation of vehicles will contribute when they will be fully effective to save lives. The problem we have today, and the question that is out there, is how many lives will put at risk to test the automated vehicle, because as we know, we have fatalities with automated vehicle when they get tested on the road. So where is the balance? How do we allow that? So that is something that needs to be addressed. And in between, we need to ensure that we continue to continue to deliver safe mobility of people and safe and efficient transport of goods. So we cannot just stop where we are and say safety will be solved when we will see fully automated trucks on the road. Because you will have every day 3,500 people that will continue to die on the road, and even a bit more because the numbers are increasing, unfortunately. Now, it is absolutely key that professional standards gets disseminated throughout the industry. As we've seen before, we need professional standards in order to deliver service excellence, in order to embrace technological changes and be able to innovate, but also to address the challenges we have today. When we look how it's happening today on road transport and its operation, we see that in many cases, we delegate risk and responsibility to people who are driving a vehicle which is possibly loaded with high-value goods or with dangerous goods without even knowing what's the level of competence in driving such a vehicle in a risky environment. And again, it's up to the companies. Modern companies today, they are monitoring the knowledge and skills of the people in order to make sure that the right person is delivering the right job, in order to make sure that they do it in order to mitigate the risk and enhance the service that is delivered to meet the customer demands. And we come back to the customer satisfaction element that was shown on slide number 2. So again, attracting the right talent is key. Gaining customers' trust is absolutely essential. And managing risk is core. So it is time to invest in the people in order for them to accompany the innovation trend, but at the same time, manage the existing. So what we see generally, we see continuous growth that is taking place and mobility of people and goods that are set to increase by about 70% by 2030, which is very good, but we need to manage that growth. Innovation and automation offer very good prospects, but to be able to reap the benefits, we need to make investments, and time needs to be accounted for. There are also increased requirements towards safety and security and the overall quality of transport operations. The shippers or the order makers increase their standards and they expect the same from all actors in the logistic chain. New technology are creating constantly changing environments. And again, if I refer to road transport, if you take a new manufactured truck today versus one that is 5 years old and another one that is 10 years old, they are totally different. Thus, the industry has to focus in attracting and developing the workforce that will drive tomorrow's economy. Now, if you want to learn more, because all the information that I'm conveying is evidence-based, we have a lot of studies and material that is made available and that you can download. We have detailed analytics as well that are also available through our channels and go into much more intricacy of the discussion that was conducted today. But also, there are events where we are gathering the key industry leaders in order to discuss these elements of how transport and logistics will evolve in the innovation curve. Be with us, and the next one will take place in February in London. We have a World Congress that will take place in Berlin in 1 year, and a little teaser to invite you to be with us in Berlin. Thank you very much for your attention.
شكرا للسيد باتريك فيليب مدير الاعتمادات والمقاييس بالاتحاد الدولي للنقل البري. سيداتي سادتي، نرحب بكم مجددا في اليوم الثالث من المؤتمر اللوجستي السعودي إلى العرض التالي بعنوان تمكين قطاع الخدمات البريدية واللوجستية، يقدمه سعادة الدكتور غسان بن رضا خليفة مستشار معالي الوزير لقطاع الخدمات البريدية واللوجستية بوزارة الاتصالات وتقنية المعلومات.
طيب. أصحاب السعادة، الحضور الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. لنتمكن من مناقشة الطريق لتمكين قطاع الخدمات البريدية واللوجستية، يجب أولاً أن نستعرض ما هو القطاع في ظل سلسلة القيم اللوجستية، وما هي أهم المتغيرات والعوامل الدولية التي تؤثر عليه، ثم نناقش بعض الإحصائيات من أسواق التجارة الإلكترونية ونقل الطرود السريع، ولا بد من عرض وجهة نظر عملائنا المستفيدين من الخدمة وشركائنا بالقطاع. العولمة وتأثيرها على التجارة مثبت، وفي ظل التعاملات الإلكترونية الأكثر تأثيراً على التاجر. التاجر اليوم يستطيع أن يبيع منتجاته إلى أي مستهلك في العالم لديه جوال. الشركات التي تستخدم نماذج أعمال غير تقليدية وتعتمد على التجارة الإلكترونية ستصل إلى أسواق أسرع وبطريقة وتكلفة أقل. وبالمقابل سلوكيات المستهلك تتغير. المستهلك يدرك أن لديه اختيارات متعددة ومختلفة، ويمكن أن يشتري ويتعامل بالتجارة الإلكترونية من أي متجر في العالم، وبالتالي المستهلك يطلب معايير دولية وبخدمة وجودة مرتفعة. زيادة عدد السكان، زيادة الهجرة من القرى إلى المدن، ازدحام المواصلات من العوامل المتغيرات المهمة. الأجهزة الحكومية في سباق مستمر مع الزمن لتنظيم المدن والقرى ولتوفير البنية التحتية لمواكبة التكدس السكاني. ومع زيادة استهلاك البنية التحتية هناك زيادة لاستهلاك الطاقة وزيادة الانبعاث CO2، وبالتالي فإن للبيئة والموارد الطبيعية أهمية مرتفعة للمشرع والمنظم والتاجر، والذي يجب عليه الآن أن يبتكر نماذج أعمال تتيح الاستغلال الأمثل للطاقة. اهتمام المشرع والمنظم لا تتوقف عند مواضيع البيئة والموارد الطبيعية. في ظل تنافس الدول لزيادة الدخل القومي وتوفير أفضل بيئة للتجارة، نلاحظ أن وتيرة القوانين والتشريعات الصادرة من الأجهزة الحكومية يتم استحداثها وتحديثها بشكل أسرع ومستقبلي لجذب الاستثمار والحصول على مستويات أفضل من رضاء العملاء. من أهم المتغيرات العالمية التي نراقبها هي التكنولوجيا وفي الحقيقة اليوم سمعنا أغلب العروض اللي سمعناها قبل هذا العرض بيتكلم على دور التكنولوجيا وتأثيرها على القطاع اللوجستي. التكنولوجيا تسهل جمع البيانات بشكل غير مسبوق، مما يمكن للشركات استباق سلوكيات المستهلك. الذكاء الاصطناعي وإنترنت الأشياء الآن كما نتكلم عنه زملائي يغير كل يوم كيف ننظر لسلسلة القيم المضافة وأثرها على آلية تحريك البضائع والطرود من نقطة إلى نقطة أخرى. 50 أو 60% من الحضور اليوم يستخدمون الجوال الذكي لإنهاء تعاملاتهم الإلكترونية. وحسب دراسة جديدة من ناسداك في عام 2040 95% من المشتريات سوف تكون عن طريق الهواتف الذكية أو الإنترنت. ماذا يعني هذه المتغيرات الدولية؟ لها أثر ملموس على تدفق البضائع، وهذا يمكن محور اهتمامنا في وزارة الاتصالات. العولمة ومع زيادة تكلفة العمالة من الصين سوف يتجه التصنيع إلى الدول الأقل تكلفة، وبالتالي نقطة بداية الشحن سوف تختلف. التكنولوجيا سوف تسرع التصنيع وتقليل الاعتماد على الموارد البشرية، ومع التنظيمات لحماية البيئة مصانع ذكية تستخدم طاقة أقل سوف تكون بمحور اهتمام الدول. ومع تزايد متطلبات المستهلك لتوصيل أسرع من المتوقع أن البضائع سوف تتواجد أقرب للمستهلك النهائي. بمعنى آخر، تدفق البضائع الآن يأخذ الطابع الحالي. المواد الخام تنتقل من القارة الأفريقية إلى الصين، ثم يتم تصنيعها في الصين وتنتقل عبر السفن إلى الشرق الأوسط، غالبا إلى جبل علي، ومن هناك يعاد تصديرها مرة ثانية إلى أوروبا عن طريق البحر الأحمر. وهنا 12% من حاويات العالم تعبر البحر الأحمر. في حال أن أثر المتغيرات الدولية تزايد، المتوقع أن يتم تخزين البضائع أقرب للمستفيد النهائي، ويتم استخدام سفن بحرية أصغر لإعادة التوزيع الإقليمي. بعض الإحصائيات بمجلس التعاون 41% من المنتجات المباعة يتم استيرادها من السوق العالمي. بالمملكة العربية السعودية 44% من السوق العالمي، وغالبا من الولايات المتحدة وأمريكا والصين وبريطانيا والهند. النتيجة، العميل الذي يريد منتج غير متوفر بالسعودية يجب أن يطلبه من الخارج. التوصيل خلال يوم أو يومين غالبا غير متوفر. بالإضافة، ومع تزايد التجارة الإلكترونية سوف يكون هناك ارتفاع للعمليات بالجمارك السعودية وطلب أعلى للتخليص الجمركي والتوصيل. ولو نظرنا إلى سوق التجارة الإلكترونية بالعالم نلاحظ أن نضوج السوق مرتبط بتواجد البضاعة أقرب للمستهلك، مما يتيح تنافسية أكبر لسرعة التوصيل. من الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية إلى سنغافورة إلى المملكة العربية السعودية 2% من البضائع التي تستهلك في أمريكا تستخرج من خارج أمريكا، وبالسعودية 44% تستهلك من خارج المملكة العربية السعودية من السوق العالمي، بالإضافة إلى 22% من دول مجلس التعاون. معناه 66% من البضاعة المستهلكة في المملكة العربية السعودية يتم استيرادها من خارج البلاد، وهي غير موجودة في السعودية اليوم. ولكن لماذا؟ من العوامل التي نراقبها لتحفيز المستهلك هو مدى تواجد عروض جذابة في السوق، تواجد كميات أكبر للمنتج محلياً، شروط أفضل للمبيعات، أحجام ونوعيات أكثر، وجودة أعلى. دراسات مختلفة تشير أن حجم التحدي سوف يتزايد مع نمو سوق التجارة الإلكتروني بمعدل لا يقل عن 17% سنوياً. في السيناريو الحالي يشير إلى أن الاستيرادات من السوق العالمي سوف تنمو بمعدل 18% في السعودية، وأن حجم السوق سوف يصل إلى 53 مليار ريال في عام 2023. إحصائية في 2018 حجم السوق 23.9 مليار ريال، يشمل ذلك قيمة المنتج، وكان السوق منقسم إلى 3 فئات: الشركات التي تبيع عبر الإنترنت مثل أمازون 18.5 مليار ريال، تجار الجملة والتجزئة مثل مكتبة جرير وإكسبرس 3.1 مليار ريال سعودي، والشركات المنتجة مثل أبل 2.3 مليار. ومع السيناريو الحالي استمرار الاستيراد، سوق توصيل البضائع CEP وهو جزء من سلسلة القيم اللوجستية، الطلب على التوصيل سوف يتماشى مع سوق التجارة الإلكتروني. ومع ازدياد تأثير المتغيرات العالمية ونضوج سوق التجارة الإلكتروني، السيناريو الثاني يكون الأكثر احتمالاً. باختصار، المنتج النهائي سوف يتواجد أقرب للمستفيد النهائي، مما يتيح توصيل أسرع وتوفير كميات وأنواع ومنتجات أكبر بالسوق المحلي. بالسيناريو الثاني، حجم السوق يتزايد في عام 2020 إلى عام 23 بنسبة 28.7%. ولكن ما هو رأي الشركات ومزودي الخدمة؟ سألنا بعض زملائنا وشركائنا بالقطاع 3 أسئلة: ما هي أهم الاتجاهات العالمية التي تراقبها؟ وكيف ستؤثر على عملك؟ الإجابة كانت واضحة: التجارة الإلكترونية هي أكبر عامل يؤثر على أعمالهم اليومية، بالإضافة إلى تطور التقنية المستمر. ماذا يريد عملائك الآن وفي المستقبل القريب؟ الإفادة كانت عملائنا يريدون خدمة أسرع، شفافية في التوصيل، وقدرة على التحكم في موعد التوصيل. السؤال الثالث: ما هي أهم التحديات التي ترغب أن يعمل عليها المشرع المنظم؟ الإجابة أيضا كانت ممتازة: الاستمرار بتحديث الأنظمة والتشريعات الممكنة لتسهيل دخول البضائع، والتشريعات الخاصة بالبضائع المرجعة. سوف نستمر بالعمل مع جميع شركائنا وأصحاب المصلحة إن شاء الله، ونأخذ مرئياتهم واحتياجاتهم بعين الاعتبار عند التشريع والتنظيم. القناعة هنا أن تمكين وتطوير القطاع سوف يكون فقط عن طريق العمل التشاركي. وزارة الاتصالات وتقنية المعلومات مسؤولة عن قطاعين: البعد الأول الاتصالات وتقنية المعلومات، وهنا وفي ظل سلسلة القيم اللوجستية نقوم بتمكين البنية التحتية للاتصالات وتقنية المعلومات بجميع المناطق اللوجستية. الوزارة هي المشرع المنظم الممكن. كمشرع نعمل على توفير خطة استراتيجية للقطاع، توفير سياسات استباقية ومستقبلية تتماشى مع طموحات المملكة واحتياجات أصحاب المصلحة، تحفيز الاستثمار ورفع التنافسية العادلة، وبالطبع العمل التشاركي خاصة مع الجهات المعنية. كمنظم من الواجب علينا توفير اللوائح التنظيمية والقيام بالأعمال الرقابة والتفتيش لحماية المستثمر، رفع مستوى الخدمة إلى مستويات دولية، وحماية المستفيد. وتسعى الوزارة دائما لتمكين القطاع الاتصالات وتقنية المعلومات عبر التسريع رقمنة القطاع، استحداث وتحفيز مبادرات لتعزيز البنية التحتية، تدريب مباشر للكفاءات التقنية، نشر مؤشر أداء القطاع. البعد الثاني: وزارة الاتصالات مسؤولة عن قطاع الخدمات البريدية واللوجستية، وهنا وبالإضافة إلى ما تم ذكره علاقتنا مباشرة مع مزودي الخدمة والتوصيل السريع، وبالتالي نقوم بتطوير القطاع عن طريق التشريعات تنظيم السوق وتنضيجه عن طريق النظام، وتمكينه عن طريق المبادرات والمشاريع المعتمدة. طموحنا أن نستمر العمل بمنهجية وشفافية، أن نعمل بخطوات متسارعة واستباقية، أن يكون العمل التشاركي في صميم فكرنا لتمكين قطاع الخدمات البريدية واللوجستية. هذا أشكر معالي الدكتور نبيل عامودي لاستضافتنا بالمؤتمر، معالي المهندس عبد الله السواحة، وجميع زملائنا بمنظومة وزارة الاتصالات وتقنية المعلومات. وأخص بالشكر زملائي في المنصة اللوجستية الدكتور ياسر الداود والأستاذة فرح إسماعيل. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
شكرا دكتور غسان رضا خليفة، مستشار معالي الوزير في لقطاع الخدمات البريدية واللوجستية بوزارة الاتصالات وتقنية المعلومات. الأخوان في الكنترول، حنا معنا وقت كافي للبريك. ناخذ البريك الحين؟ طيب، استراحة قصيرة ثم نعود بمشيئة الله تعالى حسب الموعد اللي في الأجندة، ولا قبل يا أبو يحيى؟ نفس الموعد. نعود بمشيئة الله تعالى إلى القاعة الرئيسية للمؤتمر لاستكمال أجندة اليوم الثالث عند الساعة 12:00 ظهراً.